Max Crepeau has been, I think, a good teammate for a long time as a backup goalkeeper, waiting for this. He seems to really be also throwing himself into what you've been asking of him as well.
Yeah, I think, when speaking about Max, I referenced that I was at the Montreal Impact when he signed his first contract at 18 years old. I sat in the room with him and his parents and Joey Saputo and Nick DeSantis, and we talked about his professional career and what we hoped he could become. And now, getting to know him again when he's 30 years old, it's almost like a lifetime ago, but I'm really impressed with the man that he's become, the husband, the father, the leader in the team. And so, yeah, I think, I've challenged him in a lot of ways to adapt to what I'm looking for from him and to grow as a voice in the team. And in all ways, I think he's been fantastic. So that part's been great.
And defensively, you went with Moise Mbito and Derek Cornelius at centre-back from the start. I know it's not just them that's responsible for that defensive record, but 3 goals conceded in this tournament is a pretty remarkable record.
Yeah, so look, when I took this job, a lot of people talked about the defensive frailties and issues within the team and the personnel question marks. And when I evaluated the player pool, I came away thinking, there's more to work with there than maybe what people may think. And the 2 guys that kept, when I would watch their video, their matches, the 2 guys that kept sticking out to me were Moise and Derek. And, I felt that I wanted to invest in those 2 guys at the start of our development process. And pretty quickly in training and in the first matches, they showed that they were going to be up for the challenge. So, they're different. They have different qualities and they have different personalities. But where it stands right now, I think they really enjoy playing with each other. I think they complement each other's strengths, and I think that they've adapted and grown and tried in every way to commit to the things that I've asked them to do. So on that level, they've shown a high level of intelligence as well. So, there's still a long way to go, I think, for both of those guys, but the initial performances have been, better than expected and very impressive.
We saw Moise stand there stoic with a laser in his face while he was waiting to take a penalty. I thought it was a pretty remarkable moment. Is that what he's kind of like all the time, just very poised?
I would say he's got a pretty strong personality. He's intelligent and he's pretty sure of himself, but not in an arrogant way, just in a real way. And he's I think he knows that he's talented, but has a lot to learn. So I wasn't worried at all that this would faze him. And by the way, watching him for now a month. Like, he's somebody I know just as a personality, forget even talent perspective, but as a personality, he's a guy we can count on.
Alistair Johnston, a lot of people say he'll be taking on jobs in the media. I think he should be aiming much higher than that, but what's struck you about him so far?
Yeah, Alistair is a talker, but I think, he's got good ideas and he's got opinions. He's very likable, I think, because, he can laugh at himself, he can enjoy a group, he can laugh with the others, be part of the overall mentality of what the team's creating, but in his own way. So I think, and all of those things have led to him being a strong defender, a reliable person, a guy who's up for big challenges, also a guy that wants to be coached and wants to learn and wants to be the best that he can be for the team. So, I think he has big leadership qualities. I think he has a big personality, but he's also very humble to the fact that he wants to continue to grow and get better and be the best that he can be.
I asked you about Alphonso earlier. When you came into this job and you start considering the captaincy and considering how you're going to get the best out of Alphonso, is it different with a player of that profile? Do you have to approach it differently to maybe other players in the squad in terms of how you talk to them, treat them?
With Alphonso, I don't think I've really treated him any differently than other players or people. And I understand that sometimes when you talk about high-profile players, that if you haven't been around high-profile players, that maybe there's an intimidating factor with how you communicate with them. But I've been around the best players in the world. I've seen who they are. I know they're people. I know they're eager to learn and they're eager to be invested in and eager to be challenged. And so with Alphonso, I was just trying to learn him more than his status as a player. And I think through our relationship, I think we've been able to be very open and honest with each other. We've been able to engage each other in a good way. I think he is eager to be more. He wants to be more for himself, for the team, for his career. And I think that, well, what I'm hopeful is that our relationship can be a continued opportunity for him to develop into the high potential individual that he is. And so I would say that we're enjoying our relationship, and I think we've had good conversations where he's challenged me about certain things, and that's what I think the best relationships are about, are give and take and understanding each other, and then trying to get our finger on the pulse of what's necessary for the team to be at its best. And that part's been great.
The midfield was an area where there was a lot of discussion prior to your hiring as well about, what's the best partnership? Do you need to put a third player in there? All of these different things. What were your kind of impressions of that group of players, and what have you seen from them so far?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about the midfield, there's so many different types of players, and that's a good thing to have, I think, so that we can kind of, as we're moving forward in our process, we can have flexibility depending on what opponents are going to present to us and what we might need for different games. And if I went, I believe strongly that Steph and Ismail were going to be the foundation of what we can do in the midfield, and I still believe that. Ismail he's adapting to what I'm asking of him, and he's such a highly talented young player that I have no doubt that we're going to help develop him into being an incredible professional. But he's still growing that way, and I think, he didn't come from the most structured upbringing in terms of what his football education has been, but he's accelerated quickly because he has a unique vision for how to play the game, and then how it matches his physicality and his fitness, and he has high potential. And so, I like working with him because he's hard on himself, too hard, but he's eager to learn, and he wants to be the best that he can be. He believes in himself, but he understands that he's got a long way to go to really achieve who he wants to be. And, he takes on information really well. So if you're just talking about me as a coach, I love these high potential individuals that are eager to get better. Like, if you give me that, I'm going to have a lot of fun, So, and I think with Ismail and my relationship, it's not like it's always been easy, because I've made some decisions to not play him at certain times. I've been hard on him at certain times, but he knows I believe in him. He knows I believe in him in a big way.
Do you think he can be maybe a well-rounded central midfielder? There's been times in his career he's been used further forward or off the wing. Do you see him more in that central role, being able to do a bit of everything?
Yeah, he because he's so talented and so athletic, he can play a 6, an 8, a 10. He can play a little bit wider if he needs to, or centrally. But I think for us, the idea of him and Steph working together, and the kind of balance and the way that they can play off of each other and play off of each other's strengths, I think is an incredible foundation for what we can achieve in the center of the midfield. So, and by the way, they like playing together. They see that in themselves and in each other. But we have to say, Oso's done well. I think Ali Ahmed's done well. Mathieu has a big future. Sam is an incredible professional and really provides a lot of support and a foundation for the mentality of what the group is. So there's a lot of things for me to work through yet, and with all these high profile games, it's been hard to give everybody opportunities and to really get the chance to understand how to help them develop in the overall process. But we're just in the beginning here. We're going to get there.
Just a couple more if you have the time. Jacob Shaffelburg obviously has been an amazing story at this tournament. There was a bit of debate maybe around, is he going to be as effective as a starter as he is coming off the bench? How did you kind of feel about that when you were considering whether to give him that starting spot?
Yeah, it wasn't as much about would he be effective off the bench as much as he would be from the start. It was more looking at the balance of the team and what we were trying to achieve and which guys were ready for which roles. But what I said after the Peru game, when I started him for Chile, is I wasn't going to make the mistake of not starting him again. And so, I believed also with him, from watching him, that he would fit and benefit a lot from the way that I think about how the team should play, and and that he could be a real asset. And that's proven to be true. And I think he's just developed quicker than I thought he would and taken on more information in a good way, more maybe quicker than I thought he would. And so I'm really excited about helping him and pushing him. And I think that, again, he's another very highly talented person that my job is to challenge him and give him new ways to challenge himself to be better and better. And if we can do that effectively, we'll have a really good player on our hands.
Just lastly, I know you've been asked a million questions about scoring goals and finishing. What is it that Jonathan David and Kyle Laring give you that allows them to be productive, maybe even when the goals aren't flowing?
I think both are really intelligent players. So when Kyle and Jonathan are on the pitch, even when they're not scoring goals, they're the way they fit into every phase of the game and understanding how to fulfill their roles, execute what we need from them on the day, the work ethic, the work rate, the leadership, and the talent. You know, they're amazing. And so even when I get these questions about are we getting goals, when are they coming, I know based on working with players that are similar profiles up the pitch that it will come, you know, and with the way that we play and the chances that we create and the verticality that we tried to create, that they're going to find their goals. And I think, you know, again, every game they get their chances, and now it's just a matter of, you know, calming down a little bit, you know, settling in certain moments, and then, you know, finding a way to find the back of the net. But it will come. It will come.
You enjoying coaching this group so far?
Yes, I would. Being here has been amazing, and you know, I've said a few times that I've waited a long time to decide. You know, for a coach, almost a year and a half is a long time. It can be an eternity. I'm happy that I took that time because I think it kind of just helped me create balance in my life too, which is important for me personally. But my entire goal was to find, whenever I was going to get it back into a situation where I felt rewarded by the experience, personally, professionally, in every way. And for me, being rewarded isn't about my selfish needs. It's about being in a place where you feel like the value system, the way you think about football, the way you treat people, the way you get treated, where all those things meet up. And that's very hard to find in this business. And the beauty of being here, sitting here, right now, is I feel like I found the perfect place. So, you know, we've got a long way to go to become the team that I want us to become, but I'm incredibly thankful to be here.